Hello, everyone, and welcome to another PAX East 2017 Focus Games whole roundup thing. Just to remind you guys, that is our best of gaming for PAX East. We did this back at PAX West, so we thought, hey, we're going to bring it forward. Justin was our man on the scene at PAX East, so he's going through his top 4 games. That's not to say anything else isn't awesome as well, but these were the 4 we made him choose. Well, we didn't make him choose these games, but you know how it goes. Anyways, I'm Rambling Josh.
You're like, we have to make content. You pick some, damn it.
Damn Skippy. So, I'm Rambling Josh. This is Pretty Thad.
I'm also rambling, but pretty is acceptable.
This is Loud Wakes My Son Up Repeatedly Thad. You're not actually doing it. Anyways, so Justin, what's our next game? What's our first, second, third, or fourth game?
Yes, hi, I'm Justin, by the way. Anyways,
I introduced you. I just didn't give you a nickname or anything. The Bearded Beauty, Justin.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. So this one is Dead Cells. So what immediately struck me about struck? Is that right? Striked? Whatever.
Yeah,
about
struck. It's struck.
Struck is perfectly cromulent.
Fine, struck. I saw the thing or the press release. Saw it looked like Castlevania. I'm like, it was really beautiful pixel art, really. Fluid, well-animated pixel art. So I'm like, yeah, that one. Now, it is a roguelite, and roguelites I'm kind of done with, but this is a roguelike I'm actually enjoying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Roguevania is what they're calling it.
Yes.
And it's, again, just to double back on the art style. It's both pixel art, but it's like this almost washed out like watercolor effect to it that I just really find very pleasing with a little bit of like this neon glow. I don't know. We're going to have videos over this, so assuming I find videos that will look quite lovely to people, I imagine.
Videos or GIFs. And anyways,
can I put GIFs in? Yeah, I can do GIFs.
Yeah, you can do GIFs.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to see it, just check their website because it has art that I'm looking at right now. And it's pretty.
But very much so. So yeah, so go more into this.
So combat, very very Castlevania. Like, this is more Castlevania than Metroid, if you want to call it Metroidvania. But of course, yeah, like I just say, they call this Roguevania. But it's like, it feels like Castlevania, but it gets a bit of Dark Souls mixed in with it, as far as in, like, some weapons have a sweet spot to it. Like, a whip, for example. Like, if you get in on the very tip where the whip cracks, that's where your criticals hit at. So you have to, like, kind of distance yourself. They also do have a roll mechanic, so that's like, Dark Souls roll right there. And they actually, enough that they said roll your boat in the advertisement for it. But sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I played Dark Souls a lot, so does it have like a stamina meter? Does rolling use that up? Do your attacks use that up? Or is it just really in the sense of how challenging the combat is that they're using the Souls-like tag?
More that it has a role in the combat is kind of challenging. As far as a meter goes, I only think that's for abilities, if I remember right. Rolling does not take away from it.
Okay. So then... Oh, no, I don't remember what I was going to say. Whatever. The sweet spot mechanic. I mean, a lot of, most of these kind of games, these, the Metroidvanias, the Roguevanias, these kind of things of modern era when they're based off stuff. These games in the past, where you could more or less button mash to get through enemies, kind of thing. So I like that they're taking it to the next level, the future, where, there's these sweet spots in the weapons, these things, if you really want to get, your max power kind of thing out of stuff.
Not only with the weapons, there's a sweet spot with the defense, like shields, I believe, if I remember right, does have a parry.
Okay.
So you could time that, kind of like negate damage.
Actually, I think that GIF down there might show one of the shield abilities.
Which one?
Nobody in the audience can see
this one.
it, but...
No, that one does. Yeah, there's a shield charge ability we're looking at.
That as well, which is really cool. Like, in defense, I love how to do it. It's not like you just hold it and you get hit and hope for the best. It's like, you can time it to make it better, or you can actually use it to kind of like push your way through as well.
Yeah. One of the really nice things about games that come out like this, the little 2D sprite platformers, technology is still advancing, and so when people make these, they're still like the same classic style with the sprites and the 2D platforming, but it's so crisp and clean.
Well, that's like what's so weird about this like pixel art kind of thing is like you think to yourself, well, pixel art, how could it possibly evolve from what most of us grew up with.
Yeah.
Like you think stuff, how it could possibly evolve because it's just fucking dots. It's
just
but as graphics power improves, it's really impressive because like I can't stress enough how beautiful this game looks.
There's the top left GIF right there when he pulls out the staff. When he rears it back, it actually looks like it has depth to it, even though it's just a 2D piece.
Yeah, no, it's the illusion of 3D is actually pulled off really well.
Yeah. So, and it looks like fun. And as long as the combat's challenging, I could get behind that.
Definitely challenging, but here's where let's get to the Castlevania part of it. Combat really feels like, as far as like the general stuff goes, with the Dark Souls stuff mentioned as you do get basically for weapons you can hold 2 at a time, and it's any 2, so a range and a shield, or shield and a melee, or 2 shields if you really want to. And basically, I mean, you don't use them at the same time, but let's say you put one on one button, one on the other button that you can use. So one's X, one's B, because this is on PC, so you'll probably be playing with the Xbox controllers. At least most people play on PCs with controllers do.
Yeah.
And but let's get into also. Yeah, I'm sorry. Keep going on. The progression of the level, how it's laid out, very Castlevania-like. Metroid-like as well, and you do hit bosses, and when you kill the bosses, you do get abilities. Those abilities you can keep, but when you die, the weapons you have, and also what they call, which essentially your souls in Dark Souls, they call them cells in this one, which is more so your currency than actually leveling up stuff. You lose that in the weapons you have on hand, but you can get your abilities right back when you come back to life, which is, it's the live, die, and repeat thing, or live, die, and go in a different direction thing.
So essentially, okay, so that's how the progression of the game works, is you keep the abilities which allow you to progress further and further each time, but you still have to start fresh on every other aspect.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't think any ability is needed to get to a certain part. It will make things easier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could keep those so you could kind of go through. Also, there are portals and stuff, so you kind of remember where to go. You kind of travel there a little quicker.
Okay, so, but are the levels laid out the same every single time, or is this something that procedurally changes them?
I don't believe this one procedurally. Wait, is this the one that... God, there's so many... Procedural generation is such a thing.
Mm. Well, all I know is this on their press site right here. It says non-linear progression, unlock new levels with every death, take a new path, tired of the stinking sores, why not take the ramparts?
Gotcha.
That doesn't really tell me anything.
So I think, well, because it also mentions down there, they're a little bit open. You can explore different areas and find different pathways that get to...
So it sounds like it's not procedurally generated. It sounds like you just get to explore, at least based on what's written here. And then there's secrets and hidden stuff and charming landscapes.
But that is a little confusing. Non-linear progression. Unlock new levels with every death and take a new path.
Yeah, and the reason why it's confusing for me, there are multiple games like this at PAX that's a thing. As I mentioned, like Chasm.
Yeah, Chasm, one of our PAX West games of show.
Okay, no, this is it. Sorry, Songbringer was the one I was thinking about. Chasm procedurally generates as it goes along. Chasm. Songbringer generates when you load a new game. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's not Dead Cells. So getting back to that. Yeah. No, not procedurally generated.
It's possible what they imply is... Do you remember when Left 4 Dead was coming out and they were explaining how it was going to work? And they said point A, point B, and then the middle is just big and open, and you can pick your path. Is it kind of like that?
No, it's like as in the Castlevania game. It's this big open, it's this big laid out level. Except this, you don't need a skill to progress to some areas. That's about it.
Okay. And in some areas, you'll need a special skill to get to it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Or if you want to point it out to something recent, like Breath of the Wild, you can tackle that game however you want, or whichever way you want. Get things to make it easier, but you don't have to.
Well, it definitely looks interesting.
It really is. I was having a blast playing it. It kicked off my Saturday. Oh no, Sunday. Kicked off my Sunday really well.
So then, any additional thoughts you want to add on this one?
Small development studio, Motion Twin, really small group, but they're doing awesome work. As far as the release date and platforms, I guess we should get to.
That would be
right
good.
Now. Just Steam. What they're hoping for is early May, but I don't know. that's going to happen.
Is that going to be an early access thing, or is that going to be a full release?
I think that's going to be an early access thing.
Okay.
Nothing comes out full release anymore. It always early access first.
I know.
I'm so tired of early access games. It still looks really good. I hate.
It depends what it is. It's early access just too. This isn't the time and place that we really need to have a podcast about early access stuff. But it's just an overused concept that not every game should be getting released that way.
Yeah.
But
No, it shouldn't. But
that's a topic for a podcast, I think, because I would love to explain my dislike for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Except don't put that just on indies. AAA does it too.
Oh god, no. That's a unilateral thing.
Unilateral Ubisoft thing. Anyways. I mean that in a good way. I love y'all. And your games do end up good in the end. So Dead Cells. It's great. Go check it out if you're in this type of thing.
Leave a constant calibrating to never be able to stay on topic. But yeah, so any other final thoughts before we do the whole outro spiel?
Unless y'all have a question, I do not have a final thoughts.
No,
That's pretty much it.
I think you pretty much covered the basics of it and some additional stuff. It sounds interesting. Oh, well, actually, I can ask you one more question. Is there any known story to it that you know of at this time, or is that still being kept under wraps?
We did not talk about it at all, surprisingly.
There's nothing like
your dude literally just like pops on screen at the beginning.
Yeah, it looks like almost looks like it's a Roguevania game for the sake of Roguevania, based on everything I've read so far about it.
So
Honestly,
I would
which is
expect
fine.
a story that you generally get with roguelike games.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of takes a backseat to it, maybe. Which, I mean, honestly,
Which is fine.
There's been a pretty high amount of those games coming out lately, and I'm okay with that. I'm glad that gameplay can take a front seat to something like this. I was having a conversation with my buddy about how you can't just pick up and play a game anymore. Like, everything is all big story and all these great cutscenes and everything, whereas back then you could just pick up Mario and just go.
Literally had a discussion with my brother and sister-in-law last night when I was showing off the Switch, and they had almost an anxiety attack looking at Breath of the Wild. So,
Yeah.
because neither one of them are gamers, really. So there is definitely something to be said for simplicity, and just pure gameplay. So
sometimes it's a good thing.
Sometimes it's a thing. Seeing good things, it's really good. Checking out the rest of our PAX West coverage, which you can find youtube.com/ConcalPod. We also do all of our streaming content at twitch.tv/ConstantCalibrating. Facebook.com/ConstantCalibrating is one of the best social media sources to find us, but there is also on Twitter at ConcalPod. With that, we all bid you good sign off.
Bye. I really need a better sign off.